Good evening, everyone. This is going to be a response to Jesus Freak and his Atheist Challenge video regarding the Ten Commandments. Now, I think the Ten Commandments are, if you'll excuse the pun, the bedrock of many Christians' moral centres. It's something that they live their life by, and they could probably recite word for word, and it serves as a great sort of guidance and comfort to them. Now, I don't know if they know this. They should, if they call themselves Christians. But the Ten Commandments that most everybody knows, regardless of their faith, like the thou shalt not murder, commit adultery, and all those other ones, they are not the actual Ten Commandments. All you have to do is look in Exodus. You have Moses talking about the familiar Ten Commandments, but they're not actually written in stone. He's just telling the people what God told him on Mount Sinai. It's only later when he goes back and he gets 2 tables of stone, I think is how it's said in the Bible, and he brings them down, and those are the actual 10 Commandments that God wants you to live your life by. And I'm going to recite a few of them now, and as you will see, they are vastly different to the ones that we all know today. A few are, thou shalt not make thee no molten gods. Another one is, thou shalt observe the feast of weeks, of the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end. And thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven. So as you can see, they're all sort of sacrificial, paganistic, primitive commandments, and as I said, vastly different to the commandments that some people are very you're very passionate about keeping on certain government buildings in America. You think, being Christians, they would know that the Ten Commandments they believe are God's rules to live by aren't the actual ones, but we'll gloss over that. Now, I'm not going to put my own little spin on the Ten Commandments. I'm only going to have one of them that I'm going to put at the end of the video. Now, if you're asking why I'm not going to, it's because I don't really believe in any sort of moral absolutes. Not only moral absolutes, but any kind of absolutes in this universe. Just my opinion. I'm going to go into this more on my video on morality that I'm going to do quite soon. But let's just take for an example murder. Now, in most normal circumstances, people quite rightly will think that murder is a rather immoral, evil thing to do. But we have troops in America and British and various other countries have troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. They are killing many people, yet they come back and they are seen as heroes. While if say some knife-wielding maniac comes, breaks into your house and threatens to kill your family, I bet if you killed them, not only would you have a lot of people saying that what you did wasn't a bad thing, but you would get a lot of people coming up to you, shaking your hand and patting you on the back, saying what you did is a good thing. What if by killing one person you could save 10 people? What about 100? What about 1,000? What about 1,000,000? Is there any point along that line where it becomes less immoral to commit one act of murder if it saves so many other lives? Now, as you can see from this, the morals that we use to judge certain actions are completely dependent on the circumstances and the situation that people find themselves in. Now, it seems to me that a lot of Christians have this sort of contrasting sort of black and white view of things. I think it also translates to right-wing politics to a certain extent as well. There's good and there's evil. I remember President Bush saying once that you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. It's just one thing or another. There's no middle ground, and that's wrong. I mean, that's not living in the real world. I mean, ideally, we'd all love to have things that are just good and bad, but in real life, there's loads of varying subtle shades of grey out there, and that's like another reason why I wouldn't have sort of like 10 steadfast commandments. Well, let's look at the 10 commandments. The first 4 are pretty egotistical. You've got thou shalt not have other gods before me, graven images, take the name of God in vain, and to keep the Sabbath day. And it also seems to me that the God here is rather egotistical and jealous. I mean, I know it says in the Bible that he is a jealous God, but why would he feel like this? To me, especially with jealousy speaks of insecurity, being envious of something or some quality that maybe someone has. But why would God feel such petty emotions like this? I mean, he's God. What does he have to feel jealous of? I mean, there was literally nothing outside or inside the universe. Let's just say that's true for argument's sake. That there is nothing that knows more than God, that can do more than God. I mean, he created the universe, so I mean, he has absolutely no reason to feel jealous or even egotistical. I mean, there's no one even close to him, so I don't know why he would get his jollies off, pretend to be all that, if you'll excuse the colloquialism. Now I know people that have gotten over jealousy, and yet God can't. He gets pissed off because some tiny specks on a planet aren't worshipping him correctly. I mean, come on, some Christian, please explain that to me. Some of the other commandments are alright, but as I said, there are some times where things are maybe not seen as good, but at least sort of like a necessary evil, like I said with murder, and there are varying shades of grey. Although, and if I was God, I would take some of the insignificant ones out, like making graven images, and maybe put something in like, thou shalt not rape, or thou shalt not commit child abuse. I mean, I think I would like to think that I would be of the God that I would care more about that than people making, figures of me with a willy on my head or something stupid like that. I also think it's pretty hypocritical of God to put these commandments in and yet not really adhere to them himself. It's basically a rule of do as I say, not as I do. I mean, we all know how many people are killed in the Bible. There's adultery, there's incest, so it looks like God can't even stick to his own commandments, and yet he expects us to follow them. I don't understand that. Plus, you could also say that, since God knows everything, he knows what commandments we're going to break or not, so what's the point? I think that's about it for me. As I said, I'm going to leave you with one commandment that I think I think everybody should adhere to, and I think it comes from a very wise person, from the late and undeniably great George Carlin, and it's one commandment, and it goes like this: "Thou shalt keep thy opinion to thyself." Have a good one.